We are here live. I'm in Los Angeles. Bonnie's in New York. And Mandy Vara is in Cancun, Mexico with some of her rescued animals. She is desperate to buy the land that her sanctuary is on so that all these animals can keep their beautiful home. Now, we're going to show you some of the animals, a little video we've put together. But first, Mandy, tell us who you're with and why this is so important for people to help. The donate links are in the intro.
Hi, Jane. Thank you so much for going live with us today and having us. Right now, I'm with Noche. He's actually the black sheep who started the sanctuary. It all started because he needed a home, a safe home to go to, and we only have 8 sanctuaries in the entire country, which I think is part of why it's so important to help us. And there was nowhere for him to go, so I took responsibility for him and saved him from a life of exploitation, and ended up learning that I could not take him to the US, so I ended up building a sanctuary for him. We are now over 23 animals and growing, and really what's holding us back is a bunch of unfortunate series of events that relate to me being a foreigner. I couldn't buy the land. I need to buy it in cash. I've been having this huge fundraising campaign, and now we have July 15th, we have a deadline that we have to raise, and we had a donor actually who, unfortunately, with stock changes, the money won't be available by July 15th right now. So right now we're looking for 3,000 people to donate $25 or a large or multiple large donors to make up. Now we've raised 10,000, so we're looking for $75,000, and we can secure everybody's home. We won't, if we don't raise it, we can lose everything. But if we do, we'll secure everybody's home, and we'll launch our B&B, which will help make us financially sustainable, and we will continue to rescue animals and give the animals we have their happy, I would say, luxury life that they have here. They have quite a luxury life, to say the least.
We're going to hear your story and talk to Bonnie Klapper, who is a renowned attorney who is helping you in a second. But let's get an overview of your beautiful sanctuary. So, Mandy, tell us what your story is. How did you end up there? I saw some skydiving, some scuba diving. How did you end up in Cancun?
Yeah, so I ended up here actually one day. I just wanted to learn how to scuba dive. I was looking to get into ocean conservation. So I Googled scuba shops, and one in Mexico responded first. So I learned how to scuba dive here, and then I decided to spend a couple years as a scuba dive instructor down here. And actually, the one rule I gave myself when I moved down here was to not adopt any dogs or any more animals because I wanted to travel after. But I obviously didn't stick to that rule. And Noche here needed help. He was rescued, and then with nowhere for him to go, he was going to be sent back into a life of either back into slaughter or a life in a petting zoo and exploitation. And I couldn't let that happen. So I took full responsibility because that's what I had to do to save him. And then I learned that actually with Bonnie's help, she's been there to help me from the beginning, that he could not cross into the US. So we called every sanctuary in the country, but they didn't have space for him. He couldn't cross into the US. So I learned that was it. I had to build a sanctuary, and that's more or less how Black Sheep Retreat started. I faced lots and lots of obstacles being a foreigner in a foreign country to start a business in a sanctuary. It's been very difficult. Bonnie has been with me every step of the way, guiding me through. And Noche has as well. He's really the reason we have over 23 animals. Now I dedicate myself mostly full-time to the sanctuary. I still do animal rights activism when I'm in the States traveling when I'm able to. But they do tend to take most of my time. And we're also Because I've done frontline activism, I've been in these terrible places and everything. It gave me the idea to start a self-care retreat for anybody who's been burnt out or anything to come and kind of regroup and be around happy animals and just kind of be in that opposite environment and be in the jungle in a secluded space and get the time that they need to recover from burnout. So I'm trying to kind of create a space that can help everybody heal, the animals and humans who are kind of tired of a world full of violence against animals. Oh, we have our veggie delivery coming right now. Sorry, don't mind that.
Well, speaking of veggie delivery, let's play this.
So we got some extra lettuce delivered for free with our grocery orders today. Jill, are you enjoying the lettuce? Jill and Jane are pretty happy. Nice sweet box. Wow. I filled both couches.
Those are some happy animals. I want to bring in Bonnie Klapper. You are an amazing woman, former prosecutor, renowned attorney, and you've taken it upon yourself to help Mandy with the Black Sheep Retreat and Sanctuary. Why and what would you tell people to encourage them to donate so that she can buy the land where these animals are living now?
So I met Mandy about...
Lean in, please. Lean in so we can hear you.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. And I'm sorry for the noise in the background.
Go ahead.
I met Mandy about 4 years ago at a Direct Action Everywhere event. I'm lucky enough to be on their legal team. And within minutes, I could see that there was just something about her, a level of passion and compassion. When I think of her, I use the word grace. You're in her presence and you feel grace. And I began following her on Facebook and watching what was going on with the sanctuary. I very quickly realized that the sanctuary wasn't a 501c3. And without that status, there are people who might not be willing to donate. So it was a lot of very boring legal work, but we finally got the sanctuary designated as a 501c3. I'm fortunate enough to be with Mandy on the board of directors. We speak multiple times every day about how hard it is to be a woman, frankly, in a country where there's a lot of machismo, about the security risks because it's a poor country, a high crime rate. Mandy's a woman, pretty much alone there in the sanctuary, though occasionally we have security. And the mission just called out to me. So we're trying our best to get Mandy and the animals their land. I've been to Mexico many times for my paid work. It is not a country, no country is good for animals, let's just say that. But Mexico is really not known for its compassion, not even to companion animals. It's a cultural thing, it's changing. I know many lovely Mexicans with dogs, cats, but farm animals, they just haven't made any sort of mental transition. So Black Sheep is one of, as Mandy mentioned, only 8 live farmed animal sanctuaries in the entire country. And we say farmed animal, but nobody gets turned away by Mandy. We have Fern, a beautiful iguana who she nursed back to health. We have some wild birds. Whoever needs help, Mandy doesn't turn them away. And I hope everyone watching this now or later, don't you turn away. Help us save these animals. I did all the research. Mandy cannot bring them across the border. So either she stays there and becomes Noah's Ark, wandering with the animals in tow, or we get them a permanent home.
Yeah. And, when it comes to cultures, we're incredibly cruel here. We just hide it better. And by the way, there's 80 vegan restaurants reportedly in Mexico City alone. So I
was in Mexico City last week. The hotel had Beyond Burgers and vegan tacos. So it's changing, but it's not, it's not yet part of the culture like some part of the culture here.
Yeah.
I wish I was in Mexico City with 80 restaurants, though. In Cancun, we have, I think maybe 10, but I wish I was.
Let's get back to the sanctuary issue. So how many acres do you have, and how many animals, and how can people help?
We have 7 acres, or we hope to have 7 acres as long as we can secure this property. And right now we have 23 animals, but that has been limited due to not securing the property. So once I have had to ask my landlord for every animal who I can have and get permission building, and also not want to overbuild on land that we end up not being able to keep. So we have 23, but we're growing. We do get requests and we find animals all the time. And we are farm animals. I also work with a wonderful wildlife vet here, and I'm in the process of actually getting my license for all wildlife as well. Because he's actually taken note of the level of care that they receive, and he really likes to call me to give me animals from abusive situations. So we'll be helping all types of animals on our 7 acres. And what people can do to help right now, it's so urgent that we secure this land by July 15th. So right now our biggest call to help is to share our story. We only need 3,000 people, which I know sounds like a lot, but in the scheme of how many vegans, 3,000 people to donate only $25, which is, in my opinion, the cost of a meal at a vegan restaurant. So just to donate that, and we will save more animals in the future. This is Sky. She was rescued from a local slaughterhouse. And we will rescue more animals in the future. And we also, as I mentioned, will be opening up to the public. So it will be private B&B. We're only going to have one room because we never want to overwhelm the animals. They'll always come first. But everybody will be able to come, and they'll be able to, I would love to share what it's like to have a sanctuary. So we'll have classes on animal care and on plant-based cooking to try to transition people who aren't vegan. Animal care in order to show people if they want to open their own mini sanctuary, how to do that. And we are, like we said, kind of in the heart of Cancun. So we're within an hour from all the tourist excursions. So we'll have plenty of ways to become self-sustainable. It's just right now we need that push and support in order to save their home and to really save the animals, because we don't have anywhere to go if we lose this place.
And the donate links are in the intro to this video. You can count me in. I'm certainly going to donate. And I know,
And
Bonnie,
remember, it's tax deductible. It's tax deductible.
okay, so that's a really important thing, because a lot of times one wonders about, well, if something's in a foreign country, is it tax deductible? Can you explain that, Bonnie, so that people watching know that when they donate through one of the links, and there's various links, Venmo, PayPal, all sorts of ways you can donate, that they actually can make that a tax deduction. How does that work when it's in a foreign country?
So we are not a nonprofit yet in Mexico, but an American nonprofit can be set up. And the purpose of the American nonprofit is to fund the foreign nonprofit. So our 501c3 purpose is to fund Black Sheep, the sanctuary and retreat. So our bank account is in the United States, our accountants are in the United States, the lawyer is in the United States, but all of the funds, once they hit the bank account, go directly to Mandy and the animals. And at this point, any penny you give, whatever you can give, goes directly to the land. It's all being earmarked for the land purchase, because, as Mandy said, if we don't purchase the land, we're homeless with over 23 animals.
The clock is ticking. We want to be a part of it. That's why we're talking to Mandy at Black Sheep Retreat and Sanctuary, and the amazing Bonnie Klapper in New York. I'm in Los Angeles. This is a global effort. And sanctuaries are so important because these animals are ambassadors. So many people who maybe haven't been moved by a video or a book, they go to a sanctuary and boom, magic happens. And that's why it's so important for us to have sanctuaries. And they're growing all over the world. I mean, I remember several decades ago when there were a handful, Farm Sanctuary and others, but now it's really taken off. It's a global movement. It's important that we have these sanctuaries all over the world. I've visited sanctuaries in Switzerland. I've visited sanctuaries in Puerto Rico. I've visited sanctuaries all over the world, and they really have an important function in that country. And as you mentioned, there's only, what did you say, about 8, Mandy, animal sanctuaries in Mexico. So tell us a little bit about so people will say, well, yeah, okay, there's a sanctuary, but why is it important to give to your sanctuary? Because you are one of the few in Mexico.
Yes. Well, I think the fact that I had to build a sanctuary in order to find a safe home for my sheep says one thing, because I know that activists can rescue animals every day, and if I had rescued an animal in the US, I would have been able to find a home and my life wouldn't have changed to start a sanctuary for him. But we did call everywhere and there was nowhere. So he was actually going to go back into a life of exploitation. So animals don't even really have that place to go. We do have other sanctuaries who through the years have opened up for intake and closed. But as you know, with COVID and everything, every sanctuary I think is important. And I do try to do my best to give the top, like I go over and beyond to give the top care possible. I even actually get my food from the US because it turns out the food that I was able to get here was harming the chickens. So now I fly, do a quick day trip to get everybody's food. So we really are like luxury care. And I think that's very important. And the fact that we just have nowhere to go with these animals. I will give more animals a beautiful home. I really give my all for care. And I actually have my mom who's joined me now, who she's giving her all as well. And she's also vegan. And she actually taught me really to respect animals. She taught me how to work with animals. So they love her so much as well.
Well, I'll tell you something. I'm looking at your animals seem incredibly happy. Tell us about that. What are your observations, Bonnie? And have you been there?
I haven't been there yet. I'm planning a trip, hopefully in July or August at the latest. But of course, I watch every single video. And the thing that really speaks to me is that the animals come to Mandy. They want her affection. They want her attention. And she and I are constantly talking about this animal has this illness. Can we get the best medicine? Where can we find the best medicine? I haven't really been but to 2 sanctuaries. Unfortunately, I've only been a vegan for 4 years. I'm making up for lost time. But this sanctuary, from speaking with Mandy, watching, it's operating at a level that I wish every sanctuary would operate at under extraordinarily difficult circumstances. It's not like in the United States, you can drive down to the feed store. Mandy doesn't have access to a lot of resources that sanctuaries in the US and other countries might have. So it makes it that much harder for her.
And each one of these animals has their own unique story. So, wow. Do you think you'd be able to take in more animals, Mandy, if you were able to buy the land?
Absolutely. We plan to grow. And one of the things that's also why my mom is joining, her official title, is like animal caregiver, love giver. So she's really just here to help us give that individual care to everybody. Because I do find it takes about like 9 months. After the first week and month, they're happy, but about 9 months, they like are settled in at home. And then a year in, they're just like fall in love with their life. I find I don't know how to explain it. It's like the difference between dating and falling in love. And they just really open up. And Noche actually has lived. This is why you haven't seen any of the other animals, because he's a little hog. He is always taking all the attention, and pushing everybody away. But he's lived with me since he was about 2 weeks old. So he kind of always had that, that special bond with me.
Patty says, I need to get there to visit and volunteer. Do you accept volunteers, Mandy?
At times, when we do have a house that at times we can accept volunteers, it all depends on if the house is open and what we have going on and everything. But we also have the bed and breakfast, because I'm also I forgot to mention this, but I'm a plant-based cook. So we have a full menu, an all-inclusive bed and breakfast, which will include 2 supervised hours with the animals. It'll always be supervised, but they're very friendly, and most of them love to hang out with you. So you really get to see and meet all their personal stories within that time. And I'll also be setting you up for beach days or cenote days or anything like that. So there's lots of ways that you can come visit. And if you don't want to stay at the B&B, we'll also be offering private tours with or without a plant-based lunch.
And
so there's lots of ways.
Emmanuel Marquez says, thank you for your work. It's great to see you. We now have a 6th sanctuary in Mexico. So that's from LinkedIn. Emmanuel Marquez, how wonderful things are. You know, I lived in Mexico for a year. I went to Universidad de las Americas in Puebla, and I lived in Cancun. And, you know, that was many years ago. I don't want to reveal how many years ago, but it was a very interesting experience to see a dog could walk into a bank in this little town and jump on the couch and sit. And So there were animals roaming around, and I actually adopted a dog for a while. And to my utter shame, because I was a college student, I don't know what happened to the dog when I went back to the United States after my a couple of semesters there. But it's an absolutely extraordinary culture. I think you are in a very, very interesting place because aren't you near the Yucatan as well, where there's all these incredible historic sites? So if people want to visit like Uxmal and Chichen Itza and all of those places, can you tell us a little bit about, if people wanted to, wow, we've got Lindsay Baker on. She says, I'm about to get on a plane, but I'll donate when I get home tonight. These ladies are amazing. Share out. Yes, everybody share this out. People can come. I'm ready to jump on a plane right now and go there. It sounds like a lot of fun. Instead of just doing the usual touristy things, even if you were staying at a hotel in Cancun, you could get in a Jeep, go visit you, and then see some other tourist sites. It's famous around there for example, scuba diving and also historical tourism in terms of some of the ancient sites.
Yes, we have Chichen Itza is with an hour of us. Then we have the ruins in Tulum. We really have so much. This is just a touristy area. Like I said, I moved here for the scuba diving. So there's some amazing scuba diving here in Cozumel. And I used to work at a dive shop with a plant-based boss, which the dive shop has since shut down, but my old boss is still going. So I work. I am able to set up tours that are animal cruelty free. Make sure that every tour that is offered through the retreat is going to be certified cruelty free. So I'll have that to offer as well. And like we said, we're all inclusive. So we'll have campfires with vegan s'mores. We'll have cooking classes, yoga classes, anything that you want, in-room massages, anything that you want will be offered here at the B&B. And then time with the happy animals. So it's just kind of a place where you can come enjoy all the tourism. There's paddle boarding, just a day on the water, on the boat, just a beach day with plant-based meals. Cenotes, if anybody hasn't seen cenotes, they're beautiful underwater cave systems. If you're a scuba diver, they're amazing. And if you're just a swimmer, they're still amazing. So beautiful, super crystal clear water. So there's so much to see here. It's such a beautiful place. And then this land itself within the Mayan jungle, it's just such a beautiful place. And even right now, I mean, Noche's moved on and taken his afternoon nap, but I'll switch. And everybody's just it's so peaceful. You can kind of get the peaceful vibe here. So
how many acres do you have again?
7 acres. So we have the potential to grow quite large because we're using probably half an acre right now. No, we're probably using about an acre right now because we just built another animal house that's filled with birds.
Wow, how incredible. Well, listen, I've got to tell you, what a joy to see a rescued pig slumbering with no fear in the background. Look at that pig. Yes. Thank you. What?
He's wagging. He knows you're talking to him because he's wagging his tail.
Regan. That would be Regan. That is probably the happiest pig I've ever met in my life. She just enjoys her life to the fullest. She's the queen. She's a sassy, sassy queen. But she's so happy. I'm so sorry. Did I wake you up? She knew.
By the way, I have to say that we at UnchainedTV, our streaming network, are about to launch a reality series, the first reality series starring a family of pigs rescued from a kill shelter. So check it out. Maybe we can do something with you in the future, like a TV series documenting what you're doing down there, because what you're doing is really fascinating. So, well, let me say this, final thoughts. Count me in. I'm donating, and I make a vow right now. You buy your land, I'm going to go down there. Maybe we'll get Bonnie and Donnie Moss. We'll all converge and have a great time at your sanctuary retreat. I think it's a great idea. Having traveled a lot, not recently, obviously, but in the past, over the years, sometimes when you get off the beaten path is when you have the most fun, and get away from the touristy hotels and things that we've all been there, done that. This sounds like an extraordinary vacation that's unique. And so help her get the land for the sanctuary, and then we can all take advantage of this beautiful eco-friendly retreat where we don't have to feel guilty when we go to vacation. We're not having a high carbon footprint. We're going to eat healthy. We're going to eat plant-based. We're going to spend time with the animals. It sounds absolutely magical. So final thoughts, Bonnie Klapper in New York.
So I would urge everyone who has a dream, open up a sanctuary, open up a dog rescue, a cat rescue, a wild animal rescue. Open it in the country that speaks to you, save the animals there, and don't listen when someone says, oh, you can't be a nonprofit. You might not be able to be a nonprofit in that country, but we can set you up as a nonprofit in this country. One of the reasons that's important is Facebook fundraisers are not used for sanctuaries, nonprofits outside the United States. So it's so important that I work now with an Australian dog rescue, with a rescue in Egypt. All of them we're going to make into 501c3s, because let the money come to the animals, right? There's lots of other places people can donate, but we want to help the animals.
Wow. Well, I want to get thank you for all the work you do, Bonnie. You're absolutely extraordinary and tireless and effective.
Yeah.
I mean, a former prosecutor establishing sanctuaries. How fantastic is that? So final thoughts, Mandy. What would you say if you have 30 seconds to do a pitch and to get people to donate? Come on, guys. All the links are there in the intro. This is so easy. And I'm going to make mine monthly because I think that would also help. So yes. If you feel like clicking that monthly, please do. Give your pitch, your final pitch, Mandy.
Yeah, and I would just say, as I mentioned before, we are going to rescue more animals. We have animals living in the luxury life. So if you've ever wanted to save the life of an animal, you can directly help by saving the sanctuary. So $25 with the price of a meal. Or, of course, I forgot to mention, we're also more than happy to accept loans. We're looking for loans. The original donor said they could eventually pay them back. But also starting the self-care retreat, which I also wanted to add that every dollar spent will go directly back into the sanctuary. So it's a nonprofit bed and breakfast as well. It's all to create the self-sustainable, eco-friendly, beautiful places for the animals. And if you've ever wanted to help an animal, if you love watching the cute videos, if you love going in and rescuing them, then please consider donating to us, because I will quite literally give up my life to help these animals. I just cannot do it without the proper funding. So please consider just a $25 donation from only 3,000 people could secure us today.
Yeah, Patty says we're going to get a group together. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Count me in, says Lindsay Baker. She wants to go on the trip. All right, we're all going down. We're going to Mexico. Paula Franklin, please emphasize that her deadline to buy the land is coming up in a flash. Otherwise, she will be evicted and homeless with her animals. Very dangerous. Okay, well, that's a new angle there. I mean, you're saying that if this doesn't happen, if you don't get your funding, what happens then? We want to make sure you do, but I didn't realize that you could be literally kicked out.
Yeah, we can literally lose the land. So I've tried not to look too far past just getting the funding, because it's just, we're at like a year and a half of working on this and it just has to work out. But I would never abandon them. So if I'm in a field in a tent taking care of them, then that's where I am. But we just need a break to come through, and by July we can secure this, and that won't even be a thought in our heads.
We're gonna make it happen. You heard it here. How much do we need to raise one more time?
It was originally 75,000. Sorry, it was originally 85,000. It's now 75,000, because thank you so much everybody who donated last week. We were able to raise 10,000, and I almost forgot, we have 2 matching donors for up to $1,000 each. So for the next 2 days, every donation will be matched dollar for dollar up to 1,000. So through this live stream, up to 1,000 each, up to 2,000. So through this live stream, we could have $4,000 more.
Wow. Okay. Count me in for 1,000 personally. I'm going to do that.
Oh my gosh.
Because I really feel like this is something that needs to happen. And I just wouldn't be able to rest knowing that you and your beautiful animals could be out on the street. We've got to make this happen. So I'll do that right now as soon as we're done with our live. Yes, we need to make it happen. Come on, everybody. If 3,000 people give $25 each, it's done, which means, I'm not a mathematician, if 1,500 people give $50 each, we're done, right? Or if 750 people give 50, what is it? $100 each. We're done. So we can make this happen. I think I did the math right, but that's not my strong point. Paula Franklin says, exactly, Jane. So worried. Let's make this happen. All right, let's make this happen. I'm going to leave you with our little video of Black Sheep Retreat and Sanctuary. Let's make this happen. The second this live video ends, get in there and hit the donate button, whatever you can give. We're going to hit this deadline. Thank you both, ladies. Carry on.
Thank you so much, Jane.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to do this. Hang in there. We're going to get it. Let's do it. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jane. Bye.